Good morning. My name is Felicia. I am a licensed nail tech and licensed instructor. I go by the name of Delirious Nails, and I just want to briefly go over files and brushes. But what I do want to explain to you on today is when you are a beginner, you do not want to start off with a big brush. You want to start off with at least a 10 or a 12. Now this brush right here is a very old brush. I've had this brush for 4 years. This is a training brush that the school that I work for would normally put inside of the kit. This is a 12. Normally I started off with a 10 brush. I noticed that a lot of people, when they're beginning, they want to buy 16s, 18s, 20s, 22s, big, super stupid big brushes when you really don't need those big amount of brushes unless you're doing like really long nails or something like that and you're using a lot, you're not trying to use a lot of product. So I'm going to show you some different size brushes from different companies so that you can get an idea. Not all brushes are the same just because they say that they are 14, 16, or 18. So here is a brush that I've had for 6 years. It doesn't have the name on it. Anyway, yeah, it does. It's a 777. This is a size 14 brush. This brush has been crimped. And what you mean by crimp is when they squeeze it to make it square. This one here is a 14. This is a flexi brush. It's from Trans Nails in Georgia. And this is what it looks like. This is not crimped. This is straight from the packaging. So once if I crimp this brush, it's going to look similar to this, but probably a little wider. Now this brush here is from iGel. This is day 14 brush. And as you can see, it's very small. It hasn't been crimped, but it's real small. So it's really easy for you to be able to use. Okay. When you're a beginning nail tech, you want to graduate yourself from brush to brush. You want to start off practicing with a 10, but you ultimately, in maybe 8 weeks, 12 weeks, you want to graduate to a 12, and then so forth. You really typically don't need a brush no bigger than an 18 due to the fact that a lot of nails that people are doing are not as thick or medium build. A lot of people like their nails really thin. I tend to ask the client what do they do for a living before I just do their nails, because I explain to them that if you're going to get stilettos, they need to be medium build depending on what you're doing. A lot of nails cannot be thin. They have to be medium build so that they can last and they won't just break off. A lot of times when you get your nails super thin, they tend to break off in the meat depending on how long they are. Now I'm going to show you a few 16s. I have several of those. This is a 16. I got this from a nail supply in Doraville. This one is iGel 16. As you can see, it's not that big and it hasn't been crimped yet. This one here is a Super Kolinsky X5. It's been crimped. This is a 16. This is a Creation. This is a 16. It's been crimped. This is a Petal. This is also a 16. But as you can see, it's not that big, but it's also been crimped. And last but not least, this is another 16. This is a Monte Carlo. It also, as you can see, it's not that big. Very easy to work with. So you may ask, why do I have a lot of brushes? I tend to try a lot of different products so I can find what works for me. And I can tell other people what may work for them. A lot of these brushes cost $30, maybe $26 to $35 plus. I understand a lot of people don't know how to keep up their brushes. I clean my brush in between the acrylics. When you're using acrylic, you have to wipe your brush. You have to get a good paper towel and you have to wipe your brush. You cannot do a whole nail and not wipe your brush, because then you're going to have clogged up acrylic. If you can't get the acrylic out, you can let it sit in acetone or brush cleaner, or sometimes I let it sit in the liquid because the liquid will soften it up and I can get it out more. And I also bought some brush conditioner from Mia Secret, which actually helps, or cuticle oil. I don't use the same brush too many times, so my brushes last like that. I buy buku brushes because sometimes I just pick a brush out of the cup that I'm using. This is an 18. This is a 007. I paid $50 for this brush. This brush is really, really, really good. I only use it maybe 2 or 3 times. I really don't see a real need to use it as often. And let me just explain something to you. Just because the brush is big, you can still pick up small balls, and that's going to be in another video I'm going to post later on this week. You can still pick up a small ball with a brush this size. I just suggest that when you are beginning, put yourself in a category with people that have been doing nails just as long as you. If you put yourself in a category with people who've been doing nails 5 years plus, you're going to always find yourself being depressed or in your feelings because you're not where they are. It takes at least 5 years for you to master this craft. This is not an easy task to master. And even though you may think you got it, there are still ways to improve yourself and educate yourself and gain valuable knowledge to help you throughout your career. All right. Now, files, I typically use 80/80 or 100/100. I don't use nothing past that. I prep my files, and this is the brand that I use. It's an old file, but this is called Tachi Bell. I get this from Amazon. You get a pack of 50 for $27. These files are very durable, very lasting. You can disinfect them, and I love them because they give me the shapeness that I'm looking for. I don't have to do a lot of heavy filing. It's really, really, really a good file. I also use the Mill Secret sponges. I got this from Glamorous Nail Supply. They sell them separate. They don't sell them in a pack, but the files are pretty decent. This is a 100/180. And if you're confused as to what side is which, normally the top side is the 100, the bottom side is the 180. This also is disinfectable as well. This file is a 80/100. This is an all-starry. I got this from Amazon as well. It came a pack of 50 for like, I think, $10. I'm not for sure. But this side is the 100. This side is the 80. You can tell by the coarseness of the file, and you can tell by how smooth it is which side is which. The coarser the file, the lower the grit. The non-coarser the file, the higher the grit. And if you want to prep your files, you just want to take your files and you want to go across them like as if you're slicing knives. And you do like maybe about 5 to 10 files and put them in a container and mark them prep. That way you know that these have been used. Now do note that even though you may prep a file, you may still, you can still hurt a client by over filing, heavy filing. Some of y'all are very file happy, and that's okay, but you need to learn how to maneuver your file to better help you. Now, here's a brush that I just got in the mail a couple of days ago. This is another eye gel brush. This is a, oh Lord, it won't come off. This is a 12. So when I crimp this, this is going to be probably very, very, very small, very easy to work with. They brushes are really good, and they do be having like really, really, really good sales on their acrylics and stuff. I buy from everybody. I don't swear by one name brand. I feel like, let me just start from the beginning. It's not the application, it's you. Application starts with you. If you can't get a product or something to work, it's not the product, it's you. Because most products, they have videos galore on how to use and manufacture their products. Y'all also have to understand that you have to not jump from basket to basket. And what I mean by that is if you're going to use one brand, master that brand and then move to another brand and try it out and see if it works. I have Kiara Sky, I have iGel, I have Tammy Taylor, I have Kiara Sky, I have some of the store brands, Trans Nail, Happy Nails, because I just moved from Georgia, so I have a lot of their stuff. I buy people, it's Daci. It's a lot of people, acrylics that I use. I don't swear by nobody because some acrylics do different things. You have self-leveling, you have acrylics that run. You have, I mean, it just all depends on you. excuse me, you have to have the right temperature in your house. Your liquid has to be the right temperature. You have to make sure your brushes are clean. You have to make sure that you prep and dehydrate your client. Make sure that everything is clean. You're working with a clean atmosphere, a clean space. Filing and shaping is the basic foundation for doing nails. You can be a great nail tech, but if you cannot polish and you cannot shape, it is the foundation of who you are as a nail tech. I understand we have color acrylics and everybody loves the color acrylics, but there are some people that won't polish. And a lot of nail techs don't use polish because they can't polish. And that's okay. You can learn, you can study, you can practice. It don't take that much. I learned how to polish off of YouTube. I found the idea that worked for me that was better, and I was able to master that, and I taught some of my students the same way. I feel that you should polish. You should not knock polish out. A lot of people don't like polishing, but polishing sometimes is good for some people. Acrylic, because if they're not willing, you offer that to them. Let me say, if they're not the type to want to pay to consistently move their nails, because a lot of times if you use color acrylic, they're going to want another color. Then you got to soak them off. That's more money. So offer them a color tip or color polish. If you don't know how to ombre, you can use color tips and the bottom part and ombre that way. There are a lot of ways to do nails, but shaping, polishing is the foundation of being a nail tech. I can attest, I have hundreds of color powders, but there's nothing like doing a fresh plain set and polishing and seeing your work come to life on canvas for someone else. You have different shape tips. We'll talk about that in another video, but I just wanted to go over a bunch of brushes. Do note that start off small and work your way up. I still see nail gurus use smaller brushes because it depends on what you're doing at the moment. If you're marbleizing or you're doing like different sketches to the nail, you don't want to use a huge brush. You want to use a smaller brush because it picks up smaller. Filing, to each its own. I just choose to use the 80/80 and 100/100 because they're more sharp, consistent, and those Tachi Bells are my go-to. I love those nail files. I haven't found a nail file that's equal to those. I've tried plenty. I even much got the Mia Secret files, but them Tachi Bell files are the truth. I really love those, and they're worth the $27. They're worth the $27 because you can disinfect them and you don't have to throw them away as often as you have to do the other ones. You live and you learn, and you know, you find things out. Like this one here, this is what you call an antibacterial file. Now this is the type of files I use when I'm using clients who ask for a file in the pack. Now I get these from Premium Nail Supply. They're a company based out of Florida. I buy from them a lot. They have these. This is like a little soft 120 coarse file. It's not that hard, not that rigid, but this is an antibacterial file, so meaning that it doesn't collect germs, but you can also disinfect it as well. You can follow me at Delirious Nails Spa on YouTube. I'm trying to put videos up as many times as I can. If you would like for me to review a product for you, I can. You can just hit me up. I'm on Instagram, Delirious Nails, DELEERIOUZ Nails, and I'm on Facebook as well. You can DM me and we can go from there. I do want to get into doing classes and stuff like that, but I want to make sure that I have everything down packed beforehand. I hope that this video serves purpose, and if there's anything that you would like to learn about and I can teach you, just hit me up. Have a great day.